Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Crawford and welcome to episode 3 of Mrs. Cford Vlogs. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about sketchnotes in the classroom. Not just for them for note-taking, but using them for building relationships with your students as well. If you're new to sketchnoting and you don't use it currently, that's okay. You're going to find out what you can start doing, some resources to help you along the way, and I hope you'll take that leap and start incorporating them. If you do use sketchnotes, I'm hoping that maybe you'll find a new way to use them, things that you haven't thought about before, that will help increase their effectiveness and also the relationships that you have, again, with your students by using them. Okay, when I introduce sketchnotes in my classroom, I am always a little bit nervous for how students will take it because it's a completely different form. It incorporates the text and the graphic, and students are so used to just writing what is on a board for them or what's provided for them that they sometimes have a hard time with this. They struggle with thinking they have to be the perfect artist, and it's fun, I think, but also a little nerve-wracking at first. It's fun to show them that you don't have to be an artist in order to use sketchnotes, and they can still be fun and they can still be useful. So the beginning of the year this year with the solar eclipse, we looked at mythology surrounding solar eclipses. And I had this student who turned in this sketchnote. And what I like about seeing sketchnotes, especially at the beginning of the year too, is you do learn a lot about your students through them. You learn about how they organize their space. You learn about how they think. So as this student progressed, I can tell he has a very logical progression. He likes it organized. Things are all in their spot. He focuses a little bit more on the words here, but he was able to tie pictures together. He liked having a theme that progressed through them. I knew this within the first week of school through this sketchnote, so that helps me help him during class too. This student, okay, very creative student, but she also relies heavily on text, at least at the beginning of the year. She relied more heavily on text. What I liked about that is that I could tell that she took a leap out of her comfort zone by adding these, and that she really took to heart, okay, I'm going to try to add colors in because that's a differentiation of that note too, of that note taking also. And so she was really extending herself to try this. But I learned about her through her sketchnoting. And the same thing, this student, I like showing a variety so that you can see it's not just one type of student that will engage with sketchnoting. You have all types of artists, all types of thinkers. So this one's organized even differently than we've seen the other ones. He didn't go for a ton of colors. There was 3 that he used throughout, but his pictures are effective. They work with the notes that he wrote down. As we progress and we use sketchnotes more, they start charting stories with them and everything else, and you'll see there's a difference in their approach to sketchnoting when they're sorting through a story, looking for plot and the exposition, the rising action, climax, and all of that. But they're still effective. So I have a student who uses always stick people for his sketch notes. The stick people make me smile every single time. There's just something about them. But the way that he connects, and he does, he's like written in crayon here with the drawings and with the writing, but it works. And I was able to make a clear connection through the story. I was able to trace his thoughts, and this makes sense to him. So again, you don't have to be a brilliant artist, but this works. You also have students who really excel because the art is what they enjoy doing. So this student, the same story, she spent hours working on this. And this was not for a grade, this was formative practice. But she is very talented with the drawing part, and so she really incorporated that. For her, this was a really good product, a beautiful piece to turn in, and she took pride in that. But this student also worked really hard. He doesn't tend to go towards that artistic side, but he worked really hard to get it organized. He's got all of his arrows showing the direction that the story is moving. He's used icons with them all. He was proud of his work too, and he should be, because he did what was comfortable for him while still extending himself using the sketch note, and I was proud of him too. You can also use Sketchnotes aside from plotting through stories and taking notes for nonfiction pieces. You can use them really to connect more with your students, and that's what I like also. So I already talked about how you can learn about the way their mind works, the way that they like to organize their thoughts, but you can also learn about them. I have a gamified classroom, and if you don't, that's okay. You can still extend this as a challenge for your students. If you have a gamified classroom, you can do something like I do if you're interested in it, which is offer Sketchnotes as a side quest. Carrie Baucom at Heck Awesome is amazing with Sketchnotes. She does so many creative things, and she puts out a vlog that also gives ideas on how to use Sketchnotes. And she started an idea flood. After watching her vlog about the idea flood, I started giving it as side quests to my students. So in fall, they had the option to do a fall side quest, and a lot of them took me up on it because they got house points, which is experience points, just for completing it. But I learned so much. So like a student turns in a sketch note like this, and I can look at it and I know that I can start asking them about different traditions they might have, things that they value out of that time of the year. So it helps me know the student better. It gives me talking points with them too. January, there's also an idea flood, and I have a student like this, and I love this. Clearly not excited about back to school, but his sketch note showed me that through that image and the combination with the text. It also shows me what is important to him outside of school, maybe what's important to his family also. There were several things that he hit on. He's got a great sense of humor, and that comes through in this sketch note. So the sketch note, again, helps me connect with him on a more personal level. The same thing with this student. Okay, she spent about a week off with the flu, and you can see that's like front and center, right in the middle. So that was important to her. That was not in a good way, I'm sure, but it was important because it took up, part of her month, her January. And then all of these other ideas that she associates with January in there also. So Sketchnotes can be a great way to connect with your students. I would challenge you, if you don't use sketchnoting, to try. One of these options that you saw or something that you think up on your own, check out Carrie Baucom at Heck Awesome. I'm also going to give the link to a blog post I wrote about how I first started incorporating Sketchnotes into my classroom that you might find useful. And if you are a sketchnoter, you use them in your classroom, I would challenge you to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit. If you aren't already offering things like the idea flood to help get to know your students more through the use of Sketchnotes, try something like that. And then check back in with me and let me know how it goes. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I will see you next time for the next episode of Mrs. Cford Vlogs.